A white-walled house bathed in morning sunlight stands in Greenwich's upscale residential area. On the well-maintained front lawn, the grass that Paul had meticulously trimmed yesterday sparkles with morning dew. "Amy, did you pack all your homework?" I called out while doing a final check of my daughter's school bag at the entrance. From the kitchen wafts the aromatic smell of bagels that just popped out of the toaster. "Yes. And my ballet leotard too." Amy responds energetically, her braids swaying. Her voice is filled with the usual morning vigor. "My 8-year-old daughter is a third grader at Greenwich Private School. She's grown into a trustworthy child who excels academically and takes her ballet and piano lessons seriously, earning her teacher's confidence." "I'll be home late today." Paul emerges from the garage. As a project manager at Microsoft, he's been busy lately launching new projects. With his black hair, brown eyes, and gentle smile, he's quite distinctive. He maintains his well-proportioned 5 feet 11 inches frame with weekend tennis matches. "I understand. I'll keep dinner warm for you." Our family splits up, heading out in our respective BMW and Volvo SUV. This is the Wilson family's weekday routine. I'm Melissa Wilson, 34. As a real estate agent at Coldwell Banker, I earn $120,000 annually. I take secret pride in my slim figure, maintained by Pilates 3 times a week, complementing my brown wavy hair and green eyes. Though each day is a struggle balancing work and parenting, I find fulfillment in this lifestyle. Our house is a 10-year-old New England-style home. It's a 4-bedroom with 3,000 square feet of living space and a 2-car garage. I particularly love our spacious kitchen with its island and the living room with its fireplace. In the backyard, we've installed a deck and barbecue set for family enjoyment on holidays. For security, we have a digital lock at the entrance with a Ring doorbell camera, fingerprint recognition for the garage, and security glass on all first-floor windows. Even though this is a safe neighborhood, family safety comes first. On weekdays, we follow a set rhythm. Paul gets up at 6 a.m. for jogging, I wake at 6:30 for stretching. We wake Amy at 7, have family breakfast at 7:30. Paul leaves for work at 8, I drop Amy off at school at 8:15, and arrive at my office by 9. Amy finishes school at 3:30 p.m. and has after-school activities at 4. Paul returns home at 7, and we have family dinner at 7:30. We put Amy to bed at 9, and us adults turn in at 11. This structured routine is our daily life. When it comes to housework, Martha Johnson is indispensable. She's our British housekeeper who immigrated 20 years ago. She works at our house 3 times a week. Though her $30 hourly rate isn't cheap, her meticulous nature and the trust we've built over 2 years are worth more than the money. We cherish family time on weekends. Saturday mornings are for family shopping, afternoons for Amy's ballet lessons, and evenings for watching home movies together. Sundays begin with church in the morning, and if weather permits, we have picnics in the nearby park in the afternoon. These peaceful weekend routines shape our happy daily life. We maintain close ties with our parents. My parents live in Boston, and we visit them monthly while calling twice a week to share updates. Paul's parents reside in Florida, and we never miss our biannual visits and weekly online calls. Then there's my sister Caroline. Working at a local accounting firm, she looks quite similar to me. Though her annual income of $40,000 isn't much, she seems to enjoy her apartment life. She frequently posts family photos on social media and often visits us on weekends. We're close sisters who enjoy shopping and having lunch together. This morning too, the same morning light enveloped our house. None of us had any way of knowing that our peaceful daily life was about to be greatly disturbed. One Monday night, during our regular routine, it was time to put Amy to bed. Just as I was about to tuck her in under her pink unicorn pattern comforter and give her a goodnight kiss, it happened. "Mom, I hear strange noises." Amy's voice carried an unusual anxiety, different from her usual sweet tone. I placed my hand on her forehead to check her temperature. "No fever." "What kind of noise?" "Like clicking, and then it sounds like someone whispering." At my daughter's words, I froze for a moment. However, I quickly maintained my composure and surveyed the room. I approached the air conditioning vent and checked it thoroughly. "Is it coming from here?" "No, more from the wall." Amy curled up on her bed, pointing toward the wall. I felt my heart rate increase slightly but tried not to show it in my expression. "You must be tired. Let's get to sleep now, you have an early start tomorrow." "But..." I smiled gently at Amy's worried face. "It's okay. Mom's here with you." That night, even after Amy fell asleep, I couldn't shake off her words. "But it must be just imagination," I told myself as I went to bed. However, that sense of unease gradually grew stronger. The first thing I noticed was the orientation of our family photo in the living room. The Christmas picture from last year that sits above the fireplace, it usually faces slightly to the left, but now it was facing straight ahead. Maybe I'm imagining things. But surely. That week, small oddities kept catching my attention. The TV remote was slightly off from its usual spot. Paul's study drawer appeared to have been opened slightly. The air conditioning temperature settings had been changed from our usual preferences. Each incident was minor on its own. But happening in such quick succession, it seemed beyond coincidence. The following week brought even stranger occurrences. Paul's favorite mug disappeared. We couldn't find it anywhere. The welcome mat was at an unusual angle. The mail in the mailbox, which should have been neatly stacked, was scattered. Even the bathroom towels, which Martha always folds meticulously, were folded differently. During a weekend visit from my sister Caroline in the living room. "Is Paul busy with work lately?" Though it seemed like a casual question, there was something different about Caroline's tone. "Yes, he started a new project." "I see, that must be tough." Caroline took out her smartphone and started taking multiple photos. While taking family photos was her habit, something felt off about her behavior. Martha had noticed too. It was a Tuesday afternoon when she came to report after finishing her cleaning. "Ma'am, I've noticed things being moved from where I put them lately." "Oh?" "Yes, they're in different places from where I leave them." It was the first time the meticulous Martha had mentioned something like this. Our neighbor Brenda also stopped me by the mailbox. "Melissa, have you noticed any unfamiliar cars parked around lately?" "No, I haven't noticed." "I see, maybe it's just my imagination." That night, I lay awake staring at the ceiling. The recent happenings in the house were clearly strange. Was Amy's noise really just imagination? If things were being moved, did that mean someone was moving them? But who has keys to this house? The more I thought about it, the more my anxiety grew. I tried to organize recent events in my mind. First was Amy's story about noises in her bedroom. Children sometimes imagine things to be bigger than they are. But my daughter's worried expression seemed beyond mere imagination. The subsequent series of events was concerning too. The family photos orientation, the remote's position, the study drawer, the air conditioning settings. Each was minor, but having so many occur in succession was unnatural. Paul's missing mug particularly bothered me. It was his longtime favorite that he treasured. Despite searching everywhere, we couldn't find it. While other things just changed position, only the mug completely vanished. Martha's words also nagged at me. She's meticulous and hasn't misplaced anything in 2 years. For someone like her to report feeling something was off. The clock showed midnight. The house was silent except for Amy's breathing. Yet even in this quietness, I couldn't shake an inexplicable anxiety. Was this all in my head, or was someone really? Just thinking about it made me suddenly feel lonely in this big house. I should talk to Paul first thing tomorrow. Though part of me doesn't want to worry him. I let out a quiet sigh while staring at the ceiling. A week after that night, on a Saturday afternoon. While warm spring sunlight streamed into the living room, Amy was watching videos on her iPad as usual. I had just finished the weekend cleaning and was brewing coffee in the kitchen. "Mom, I hear that strange noise again." Amy's sudden cry made me freeze. As steam rose from the coffee maker, her voice carried the same anxiety as before. Since that night, the sense of something being off in the house had only grown stronger. This time, I needed to investigate properly. Where is it coming from? I headed toward the living room, trying to stay calm. Amy stood up from the sofa and pointed toward a large houseplant. "Around here." The houseplant in the corner of the living room. My favorite monstera that I'd been growing since we moved in. Its glossy large leaves beautifully reflected the afternoon light. I approached the plant and carefully began moving the leaves. I could feel my hands trembling slightly. As I checked each leaf, there it was, a small black device I'd never seen before. This couldn't be. I felt the blood drain from my face. A shape I'd only seen on TV and in movies. But there was no mistake. This was a listening device. Someone had been recording our family's conversations. "Mom? What's wrong?" Amy's voice snapped me back. "I can't frighten my daughter." I tried desperately to maintain my composure. "Nothing, sweetie. I just need to make a quick call to Daddy." I took out my smartphone with trembling fingers and dialed Paul's number. On Saturday afternoon, he should be at the nearby tennis court. "Paul, come home right now." "What's wrong?" Worry seeped into my husband's voice. "I'll explain later. Just hurry." "All right, I'm coming." After hanging up, I stared at the listening device again. Just a few centimeters in size. But what this discovery meant was serious. Someone had broken into our home and planted this device. That someone was eavesdropping on our daily life. 30 minutes later, Paul returned home covered in sweat. We spoke in hushed voices in the kitchen to keep our daughter from realizing what we'd found. We should call the police. Paul's voice was serious. But this involves our home. I hesitated. Would involving the police make things more complicated? I see. Who has keys? At my husband's question, I thought carefully. Us, Martha, and Caroline. Listing the names felt like my chest was being squeezed. Having to list trusted people as suspicious subjects. What about neighbors? No, but they've been watching lately. The number of people with keys to this house is limited. But they're all people we should be able to trust. Could one of them really? From the living room, we could still hear Amy watching videos on her iPad. A normal Saturday afternoon. But at this moment, great anxiety was spreading through our hearts. Outside the window, the spring sunlight continued to shine brightly. But inside this house, it felt as though we were suddenly wrapped in dark shadows. As day turned to dusk, shadows crept into the living room. We sat facing each other at the kitchen table, staring at the small device before us. This tiny object was threatening our daily life. The thought sent chills down my spine. Are we sure it's really a listening device? Paul muttered quietly. True, we'd never seen anything like this before. We'd only seen such things on TV. But what else could it be? The sounds Amy heard, the strange feelings around the house, and now this device. It all connected. We should have the police look at it. But who? The words trailed off. We looked at each other. Only a limited number of people have free access to this house. All of them are important to us. Do we have to suspect one of them? From the living room, we could still hear Amy watching her videos. Her innocent voice seemed out of place in this heavy atmosphere. We shouldn't tell Amy anything. Paul nodded deeply at my words. Neither of us wanted to frighten our daughter. The clock showed 5 p.m. Normally, it would be time to start preparing dinner. But now, such daily routines felt distant. How should we face this reality? For now, I'll search the whole house tonight. Paul spoke with determination. His voice carried a strong will to protect his family. Tomorrow, we'll consult an expert. Right now, it's important to act normal. I nodded at those words. What we can do now is calmly assess the situation. Maybe that's the best way to protect our family. Through the kitchen window, I could see the dusk sky. Until this morning, I never imagined we'd be in this situation. How will our lives change from here on? Amy's voice called from the living room. Mom, I'm hungry. Her usual sweet voice brought me back to reality. That's right, we need to act normal now. I'll start cooking now, Amy. You can watch TV with Daddy. As I stood up, Paul and I exchanged silent glances. We must get to the bottom of this. It was an unavoidable choice to restore our family's peace. After Amy went to bed, we gathered in Paul's study. Wall-to-wall bookshelves, a large wooden desk, subdued lighting. This room, usually my husband's workspace, had become our strategy room for the night. To catch the culprit. Looking at the listening device on the desk, I searched for words. Hours after the discovery, the initial shock had subsided, but my mind was still in chaos. We need to set a trap. Paul's voice was quiet but filled with determination. His profile as he sat at the desk showed strong resolve beneath his usual gentleness. But who? My voice trembled. In this situation, we had to suspect people close to us. That fact squeezed my chest. Let's spread the same information to everyone and watch their reactions. I slowly nodded at my husband's suggestion. Indeed, that might be the most reliable method. But what information? How about Disneyland? Amy would love that. Yes, a natural setting of a family trip wouldn't seem suspicious. The plan gradually took shape. First, we'd leave Amy with my mother. We couldn't involve our daughter in any danger. Then, explain the situation to neighbors and ask for cooperation. And notify the police in advance. From the next day, I began spreading information by phone. Yes, we're going to Disneyland as a family next weekend. Calling Martha. While maintaining my usual tone, my heart was racing. We'll be away from Saturday morning through Sunday. Messaging Caroline. While trying to gauge my sister's reaction, I struggled to keep my voice from shaking. Amy's so excited about meeting Minnie. Chatting with Brenda. I concentrated all my energy on maintaining a smile to keep anxiety from showing on my face. 1 week of preparation. During that time, we proceeded with careful attention to detail. We explained to Amy that she'd be staying at Grandma's house, which she happily accepted. We explained the situation to the police in detail, and they agreed to stand by on Saturday night. We also set up surveillance. New security cameras were installed in the house, and recording devices were prepared. Emergency contact networks were confirmed. As all preparations fell into place, my anxiety and tension grew. Are we really doing the right thing? Friday night, I confided my anxiety to my husband. It'll be all right. Paul gently held my hand. The police are standing by, and we have the neighbors' cooperation. Besides, this is necessary to protect our family. Those words gave me a bit of courage. Indeed, our family's peaceful life won't return without this. To be free from this anxiety, we need to know the truth. Saturday morning. After sending Amy to my mother's house, we had our final meeting. By nightfall, someone might sneak into this house. Then, we would know the truth. It might mean learning about the betrayal of someone we trusted. We were already prepared for that possibility. We waited silently in the darkening house. From outside, we could hear the smell of barbecue and children's voices from neighboring houses. Only our house remained eerily silent, as if left behind. We managed to make it look like we left in the morning as planned. Early in the morning, we had loaded large travel bags into the car and departed while neighbors were watching. Then we snuck back through the back door, and since then, we couldn't approach windows or turn on lights. We'll wait until deep into the night. Paul whispered from a corner of the living room. We chose positions where we couldn't be seen from outside but had a good view of the house's interior. Police patrols every 30 minutes. We can call them immediately if anything happens. The clock showed 6 p.m. As the sun began to set, twilight crept into the house. Leaving only minimal lighting, we continued waiting in the darkness. "Are you hungry?" my husband whispered. "I'm fine, I prepared sandwiches." Even eating had to be done carefully to avoid making noise. When thirsty, we sipped water slowly to prevent any sound. This kind of tense waiting was a first-time experience. By tomorrow morning, everything should be clear. I silently nodded at Paul's words. This was an unavoidable choice to restore our family's peace. As dusk deepened, we held our breath and waited in the darkness. Through the kitchen window, we could see the orange-tinted sky. As if reflecting our tension, its color gradually deepened. As night grew darker, the clock showed 9 p.m. The house was wrapped in silence as Paul and I held our breath in the darkness. That's when we heard the sound of the front door key turning. My heart leaped at the sound. Someone who knew the digital lock code. That undoubtedly meant someone close to us. Footsteps approached. 2 sets of footsteps. I remained hidden in the darkness, straining my ears to listen. As shadows appeared in the living room, I reached for the switch. The moment the lights came on, standing before us was Martha. And the voice I heard from behind her made me freeze. "Caroline." Seeing my sister's figure, my mind went blank. How could it be her? Faced with this unbelievable sight, words failed me. "Why?" I finally managed to squeeze out the words. Caroline kept her head down and began speaking in a trembling voice. "I wanted to hear Paul's voice, every day, since your wedding day. I've always." "Paul, but you were chosen." Caroline's voice was hoarse, tears streaming down her cheeks. My sister fell to her knees and continued speaking in a shaky voice. "I fell in love with Paul the first time I met him. But because he was my sister's boyfriend, I tried so hard to suppress my feelings. I knew it was your happiness. But that day, during the wedding preparation meeting, when I was alone with Paul." Caroline's words caught in her throat. Paul smiled kindly and said, "Caroline is like a sister to me." My sister continued painfully. Those words became twisted inside me. I'm not just a sister. I loved Paul more than anyone. But still, why? Did you notice, sister, that I only make $40,000 a year? Paul makes $150,000. You make $120,000. Only I, so much less. Caroline's voice rose in anguish. The weekend visits. They were because I wanted to see Paul. Taking family photos was because I wanted Paul's smile. Every time I posted on social media, I wanted everyone to think we were a happy family. But that wasn't enough. Yes. I wanted to hear Paul's voice, conversations on days off, work talk, conversations with Amy. I wanted it all. Then Martha spoke up. "I had difficult circumstances too," she began in her British accent. "My mother's surgery costs back home. $30 per hour wasn't nearly enough. Miss Caroline offered me $1,000 per month at first. Then it became $2,000. I should have refused, but I forced her," Caroline interrupted. "I took advantage of Martha's situation. paid her to help install the listening devices. That's not all, is it? I said quietly. Paul's mug too. Yes. My sister raised her face. The mug, his ties, used memo papers, they're all in my room, as my private treasures. To go that far. I was going mad. Putting on a smile next to you, saying what a lovely family. But really, I wanted so desperately to be part of this family. As the police officers approached, Caroline made her final confession. The hardest part was hearing Paul say, "I love you every day, but always to you, never to me, not even once." But that's... I know. It's crazy. But I couldn't stop. Smiling next to you while feeling torn apart inside. Suddenly, sirens wailed. Red and blue lights flashed through the windows. Don't move. As officers entered the room, Caroline collapsed on the spot. Paul. I'm sorry. Sister. I'm so sorry. Martha silently held out her hands, wearing a resigned expression. At that moment, Paul appeared at the top of the stairs. Caroline continued speaking through her sobs. On your wedding day, what Paul said to me. Caroline, you'll find someone wonderful too, but I clung to those words, and now this. I approached my sister and placed a hand on her shoulder. I couldn't hate her. I had completely failed to notice how much my sister was suffering. Caroline, if you had just talked to me earlier, not like this. I couldn't, destroying your happiness with my selfish feelings, but in the end, this is how. As officers moved to take them away, various emotions swirled in my chest. Anger, sadness, sympathy, and regret. Changing the family photo's orientation, moving the remote's position, it was all Caroline. Were these expressions of her love? Or manifestations of jealousy? Martha bowed deeply one last time. I'm truly sorry. I too, in my difficult circumstances, was blinded by money. The sound of police car doors closing. The sound of sirens fading away. With those sounds, our daily life changed dramatically. Perhaps we'll never return to those peaceful family times. But this is reality. And this is the truth. The reality we must accept lay before our eyes. 3 months have passed since then. Caroline is receiving counseling from a psychiatrist. My heart still wavers between wanting my sister's recovery and being unable to forgive her betrayal of our family. We settled with Martha out of court and hired a new housekeeper. But this incident taught our family important lessons. When Amy said she heard strange noises, we should have noticed sooner. We learned the importance of not dismissing children's intuition and listening carefully to them. We've upgraded to the latest security system and increased family time together. We always go for picnics on weekends and have family conversations after dinner. We want to nurture genuine family bonds, not just superficial daily routines. We also value our neighborly relationships more than before, never forgetting the gratitude toward neighbors who helped us in times of crisis. Above all, we want to be more sensitive to the unspoken voices within our family.